He was a boy born into silence, where dreams seemed impossible and hope felt like a stranger. Every step he took was against a world that didn't notice him, against streets that whispered failure, against eyes that doubted his worth. Hunger gnawed at him, cold nights tried to break him, but inside burned a fire no one could touch. Each fall was sharper than the last, yet he rose, refusing to bow, refusing to surrender. People laughed at his struggles, called his dreams foolish, but he learned to turn their mockery into strength. Every challenge became a lesson, every heartbreak a push forward. He was just a boy, small and unseen, yet within him lived a courage that could shake mountains. From nothing to everything, his journey had begun, and the world had no idea that one day he would rise so high that even the sky would marvel at him. That he grew up in a neighborhood where the walls whispered limits and the streets reflected struggle. Every day was a battle, not just for food or safety, but for dignity, respect, and a chance to dream. His family tried to survive, but life demanded more than they could give, leaving him to learn lessons too heavy for a boy. Even in moments of despair, he discovered a spark inside, a voice that refused to accept defeat. School was a challenge, friends were scarce, and opportunities seemed like distant stars, yet he clung to hope. Every harsh word, every closed door, every injustice became fuel for determination. He began to understand that the world would not hand him anything, he had to take it. This was the beginning of a journey where courage would be tested, dreams would be challenged, and a boy who seemed ordinary would begin to shape an extraordinary destiny. From the moment he could remember, life had been unforgiving. Streets were harsh, faces were cold, and the world seemed determined to remind him that he was small, weak, and invisible. His home was crowded and noisy, yet it offered little comfort. Hunger was a constant companion, making his stomach ache while his dreams whispered in the shadows. School was no escape. Teachers overlooked him, classmates ignored him, and the weight of judgment pressed on his shoulders. He fell behind sometimes, not for lack of effort, but because life demanded more than a boy could carry. Bullies took every opportunity to break his spirit, laughing at his clothes, his accent, even his silence. Yet, in the depth of despair, he found fragments of hope. Small victories, solving a problem no one noticed, helping a friend without recognition, began shaping a resilience no one could take away. Every failure became a lesson in survival. Every tear turned into determination. Night after night, he lay awake, planning, imagining, and refusing to accept the limits imposed by others. His heart carried a stubborn fire, a promise whispered to himself. One day the world would see him, not as the boy who struggled, but as the one who refused to give up. And so, with every harsh word, every closed door, every rejection, he learned to rise a little higher. Each day became a battle and a training ground. He faced poverty, discrimination, and loneliness, yet he moved forward. Nothing came easy, yet he refused to surrender. The journey had only begun, and the boy who seemed ordinary was quietly preparing for an extraordinary life. One cold evening, everything changed. He stumbled upon a man sitting quietly on a bench, reading a book as if the world didn't exist. Curiosity pulled him closer. The man noticed his hesitance, looked into his eyes, and asked a simple question, "What do you dream of?" The question hit harder than any insult, any failure he had faced. For the first time, someone seemed to see not the boy struggling, but the boy who wanted more. The man became a mentor, showing him that knowledge, persistence, and belief could open doors no one else even noticed. Slowly, the boy began small experiments, testing his limits, chasing tiny victories, feeling a spark he had never felt before. One day, he solved a problem at school that no one else could, and for the first time, teachers acknowledged him. It was a taste of what might be possible. Yet the path remained dangerous. Society whispered he would fail, friends doubted his focus, and fear lurked in every shadow. Still, he kept moving, driven by the silent promise he had made to himself. He would not be broken, he would not give up, he would rise. Every step forward was a mixture of hope and terror, every small success fueled his courage, every setback tested his resolve. The boy who had once felt invisible now discovered that even the smallest action could create ripples of change. It was the beginning of a transformation, the first chapter in a journey from struggle to triumph. And though the road ahead was unclear, one truth was certain: he would never stop fighting for his place in the world. As he stepped forward, the world became heavier. Every door he tried to open seemed locked by rules he did not make. People judged him before they knew him, opportunities vanished as quickly as they appeared, and whispers of doubt followed him everywhere. At school, favoritism shadowed talent, and at home, survival demanded sacrifices that tested his limits. Friends betrayed trust, rivals mocked effort, and even kind gestures were rare. The boy began to understand that the path to success was not straight, not fair, and often invisible. Yet he refused to retreat. Each obstacle became a test of patience and courage. When society told him, "You cannot," he responded silently with action. Nights were long with study and planning, days filled with hard work and endless rejection, but he moved forward. He learned to turn criticism into strategy, insults into fuel, and failures into stepping stones. Slowly, he began noticing small changes: teachers acknowledging progress, peers respecting persistence, strangers nodding in recognition. Each moment of resistance strengthened resolve, shaping him into someone no obstacle could break. The boy who once felt powerless now realized that every challenge from society was an opportunity to rise stronger. He understood that the battle was not against one person, but against every expectation that tried to define him. With every struggle, his vision sharpened, his determination hardened, and his dream of turning nothing into everything became more real than ever before. With each passing day, his efforts began to show results. Small victories stacked one upon another, and for the first time, the boy felt the taste of progress. Teachers who once overlooked him now acknowledged his dedication. Classmates who had doubted him watched quietly as he excelled. Every challenge he had faced, every moment of struggle, became a foundation for what he was building. Opportunities arrived, not by luck, but because he refused to give up. Projects were completed, skills sharpened, and recognition slowly followed. Yet the climb was not easy. Setbacks still came, deadlines loomed, and mistakes threatened to undo months of effort. Still, he pressed forward, learning to adapt, to plan, and to persist. Friends who had abandoned him before began noticing his growth. Mentors praised his focus, and the boy began to believe in himself in ways he never imagined. Each small triumph was a reminder that he was capable, that determination could bend circumstances, and that every ounce of pain had a purpose. Nights of planning turned into days of achievement, and gradually he felt the gap between his dreams and reality shrink. The boy who had once been invisible now stood on the edge of possibility, ready to step into a world that had once ignored him. He understood that success was not a single moment, but a journey of persistence, courage, and unyielding belief. And as he climbed, the fire inside grew stronger, lighting the path toward everything he had ever imagined. Finally, the boy who had fought every obstacle reached a moment he had only dreamed of. Doors that were once closed now opened wide. Recognition, respect, and success arrived, not as gifts, but as results of relentless effort. His achievements inspired those around him. People began to see not just a survivor, but a leader, a symbol of determination. Yet he never forgot the streets, the hunger, or the nights filled with doubt. Each struggle became a story to share, each failure a lesson to teach. He started helping others who faced the same challenges he once had, proving that triumph was not only personal, but a responsibility. Communities noticed the impact, and his journey became a beacon for those who had been told they could not rise. Friends, mentors, and strangers alike celebrated him, but he knew the true victory was internal: the courage, resilience, and unwavering belief that nothing could stop him. From nothing to everything, the boy had transformed into a man who carried not just his dreams, but the hope of everyone who had been overlooked. He left a legacy that words could barely capture, a life proof that determination, courage, and heart can turn even the smallest spark into an unstoppable flame. The journey from struggle to triumph was complete, but the fire he ignited would continue to inspire, reminding the world that no matter how hard the odds, refusing to give up can change everything. From nothing to everything, his journey proves that courage can defy circumstance and determination can overcome any obstacle. The boy who once felt invisible now stands as a symbol of hope, a reminder that no dream is too big and no challenge too strong. Every hardship he faced, every failure he endured, shaped him into someone unbreakable, someone capable of changing not just his life, but the lives of others. His story is not just about success, but about resilience, belief, and heart. For anyone watching, listening, or dreaming, it shows that giving up is never an option. Life may test, society may doubt, and fear may knock, but those who persist can rise higher than imagined. His legacy lives in the courage he inspires, proving that even a single spark can ignite a flame powerful enough to light the world.